There we, oh, that's perfect. Look at that.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Beau from BEAU'D Not Broken, and we are live here in Murray Park, here in Murray, Utah, United States of America. Those that are coming to us from outside the country or outside the state, again, we're in Murray. This is the Daily Bend, and I have Traci here with me today. Glad to have her here. She's a friend to many and will be a great guest and probably a return guest. And so appreciate everybody watching. We come to you Monday through Friday, usually in the afternoons, sometimes in the evening, but usually around 2:30 we try and show up live on Periscope, which we're on now, and then we download onto YouTube, and then we post on Facebook, and sometimes we come to you from Facebook as well. But it's a beautiful day, and what we do here is we talk about adversity. We talk about living with faith and courage and endurance, and not necessarily faith, religious faith, but faith in ourselves. And I have different people on that, well, everyone that comes on tells their story in their own words, and we can help others through things. And Traci comes from another guest, Suzanne, that was on. I think Suzanne and you are friends, have been friends for a while, and there's going to be friends and friends and friends that have different issues or different adversities, are going to be able to help each other. So anyway, thanks for being on. And my first question is that big, broad, tell us about yourself. Tell us about some of the things that have happened to you lately, and you know, and then we'll just go from there.
Well, I am 31 now, and about almost 4 years ago, my son had just turned 1, and you hear about those people that, you know, they tell you do your breast exam. Yes, I'm talking about breast cancer.
Breast exams, yes.
And my mom told me when I was 13, you do it every month, the week after that time of the month. And I did, and everyone told me,
if I look at that and I look at this, then I know we're okay. Don't get nervous.
No, you're right.
It's not an...
Everyone told me that, you know, oh, it's a swollen milk duct, your son's only 1. And I knew from the moment I felt it was cancer.
Oh, really?
People thought it was crazy.
Right.
And I went in to have my doctor, and it was Dr. Capinger that passed away in Ogden, that passed away in the Bear Lake accident.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He was the one who basically saved my life, I guess
Wow.
you'd have to say, because he believed me.
Right.
He said, it's not moving, it's not round, this isn't right. And so it was because of him, and he pushed, and he got me in for a biopsy and a mammogram and an ultrasound, all within a week after I found it. Because by the time I was diagnosed on August 8th, and my double mastectomy was on August 27th, it had grown 4 centimeters.
So you're, okay, it's a little bit windy, so we're going to have to speak up. Hopefully
No,
it's
you're
not
fine.
going. So you're 31 years old at the time, right?
No, I was 31
You were
now.
31 now.
I was 27.
You're 27, and we're talking breast cancer. We're talking...
The hardest
we're talking
form of
young,
breast cancer.
yeah, we're talking really young, usually not something that
You don't
age.
think about
Yeah.
it. I was the youngest
How about-
diagnosed in Utah in 13 years.
Really?
Now
How
there's
many,
4 ladies that are
how many, anybody in the family have a
I had
history of?
no family history at all.
That's something to take heed of,
And
everybody.
well, here's the thing. I'm a breast cancer advocate now, and only 15% of all cancers have a family history. So they say family history. No. I also had triple negative breast cancer, which occurs in 15% of all breast cancers. There's no hormones, no nothing involved with it at all. So there's nothing I could have done to prevent it.
Okay.
It just occurs.
So during this time, you have children,
I had
were
a
you
1
married?
and a 2-year-old.
Okay, a 1 and a 2-year-old.
And my husband had just started a brand new job in Wyoming. I had been there for 2 weeks when I found the lump. So
Wow.
I had no family there, nothing.
Wow.
And we had to travel back here to Utah because we lived in Evanston.
Right.
So we had to travel through the mountain every time, 3-4 times a week to get treatment.
Sorry, a little bit windy. I hope
You're fine.
the microphone's working. I might move it up just a little bit. Just move this up just a little bit right here. So Traci's a little closer.
You're
and
fine.
I'm not as big and bulky as I look there. Okay. So you're living in Evanston when this happens, okay?
And what, it was a huge thing. This is what kind of like people don't realize. People think the world is evil and mean and they're out to get each other. I knew no one there, and that community stepped up and helped me every step of the way. I didn't know them. I lived there 2 weeks. I had women from my board coming to take food to me. The local breast cancer charity in Wyoming made sure I had gas cards, because even though my husband had good insurance, you're still with your deductibles out $10,000 to $20,000 of your cost.
So growing up, no histories. We talked about no histories, no family history type things.
No.
What do you tell? I mean, you know, you're an advocate. What do people? I mean, do we have our teenage daughters checked?
As soon as they start their periods, they need to do self-exams.
Okay.
Because of course there's the girl in Kaysville that's 8 that has breast cancer.
Wow.
And so cancer doesn't discriminate.
Right.
I have women in my support groups on Facebook that are from 19 all the way up to 101.
Wow. You're watching the Daily Bend here on BEAU'D Not Broken Network, and we've got Traci here, and she's talking about at age 27, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you said. Age 27, she found out she had breast cancer and had double mastectomy, things like that. This show is where we talk to people in their about their adversities and try and help people while they're in it, or maybe but like this, we should talk about prevention. We should talk about what can people do. You're an advocate now. Now that you've had it, now that you've seen it, and you've seen it in a lot of different places. We had Mary Nichols on. One of the first shows was Mary, and she had hers a few years ago, but now she's my age, 53. Time. Yeah. So let's talk about that for a minute. Prevention, advocating, for it. What's been your experience?
The biggest thing is, especially with the CDC new guidelines about mammograms only after you're 40, I don't get a mammogram even though I am on disability, because the government won't pay for it, even though I have had breast cancer, which is ridiculous.
Okay.
But I would say anyone that has a daughter, or even men get breast cancer too. We can't forget about that.
We better check them.
You honestly, you have to, because if we don't check, it can sit there. And I have a few women that knew the lump was there, but thought, it's nothing to worry about. Now they're fighting for their lives.
Right.
So we need to teach our daughters from day one, when their cycle starts, at the week after, because your hormones are balanced.
Right.
after that week, then you can tell any changes in the breast tissue. If you have fibrosis or fibrous tissue in your breast, you need to go get it checked by your doctor at least once a year.
Okay.
But you have to know your body. That's a big thing.
So as far as mammograms, they're not paid for typically
not until you're 40.
Not until you're 40, but what do you suggest people obviously try and pay for them before?
If you have a history in your family, of course, get them paid for. If you test positive for the BRCA gene, which Myriad Genetics has a new patient assistance program, instead of the $3,600 for the BRCA test, they only charge $325. It's on their website. It's awesome. Most people don't know about that.
What website is that?
It's
Spell that
Myriad.
out.
It's MIRAD.
Okay.
.com, and then you search for BRCA patient assistance.
Okay.
And it'll come up for the form, and they'll send the kit to your doctor, and you go into your doctor, and your doctor will do the sample.
Oh, okay.
And it's really easy. So you save yourself, $3,300.
Wow.
And and that's for anyone making under $100,000. So that's most people in the U.S.
A lot of people watching here don't make $100,000. I'm sure. I know I don't. This is the regular show, the regular Beau show.
I'm the discount queen when it comes to medical stuff.
So you were obviously not able to work, things like that.
No.
Now, what's your status now, and what are some of the things you're doing for breast cancer, and things like that?
Well, I'm 3.5 years, no evidence of disease.
Okay.
Technically, clinically, you're not cancer-free ever.
Oh.
Because once you've had it, that's why a bunch of us in the advocacy world don't like cancer-free or the word cured.
Oh, okay.
Because you're not cured of cancer.
So it cannot. Well, yeah, but you always hear of people that have had cancer, and then 10 men, women, different types of cancer, they're cancer-free, and then 15 years later, some cancer comes back. I have a good friend
that she's now stage 4, and it was 9 years later.
Oh, wow.
And I have a couple that 22 years later it comes back. Okay. So no evidence of disease is a celebration.
Right.
It really,
right.
really
No
is.
doubt. No
because
doubt.
The type of breast cancer I had triple negative, 30% of us are going to get it again, and the majority of those 30% will die.
Wow.
And so it's not the 10, 15 of the hormone positive cancers. And they're all breast cancer. They all suck. All cancers suck.
So there's more than, I mean, when people say breast cancer, there's more than just, there's not just one breast cancer.
There's about 8.
Okay.
So it depends on your hormones. So you have HER2, you have estrogen positive, and you have triple negative, and then you can be all of the 3 hormones, estrogen, HER2, and progesterone positive. So you can have one of the hormones and none of the others, or you could have 2 of the different ones,
right,
or all 3, or you could have triple negative that has no hormone involved at all.
This may be a little weird, but what about women that, I mean, when we think of breast cancer, we think of women, their breasts obviously, but not all large-breasted women get cancer, and not, small-breasted women get cancer. I guess my question is, the small-breasted women, they're just as susceptible as anyone else.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just like men. Men don't have but maybe about 1.5 inches at most of breast tissue.
Okay.
And men get it, and the scary thing is men are more apt to not get it checked, and that's why the ratio of men dying from breast cancer is a lot higher.
Wow.
And
crazy.
It's scary.
Right.
And it's sad because there's not enough attention brought to the stage 4 patients, and there's not enough attention brought to men with breast cancer.
What about those women with implant, sizes, bigger ones, those things?
Good question.
Yes.
You can get breast cancer too with implants.
Right. And what is there a different, should they make sure they consult people different ways of doing it with an implant,
you can always do a self-breast exam. They do mammograms with implants. A lot of times they'll do an ultrasound so they don't pop the implant.
Yeah, because if you clamp that thing.
Well, in a lot of breast cancer reconstruction, I have implants in because I had a double mastectomy.
Right.
And so they don't do mammograms for me because the government won't pay for it.
Right.
But because they don't want to damage my implants and that, because I had no option. There's a bunch of different procedures you can have done, but this is what worked out for me.
Right.
So they're all good. I'm not going to pick one versus the other. Yeah.
But there's different ways of identifying breast cancer other than a mammogram, like we talked about earlier.
The ultrasounds they have 3D ultrasounds now they have ones where they can put dye in and it'll adjust to the cancer. They'll do MRIs, CT scans. It happens. I've seen women with triple F breast implants and get it, and they have to remove them.
Right.
And a lot of times they don't put them back in because it scared them.
Tell me about your all your different groups that you have. I think that's pretty impressive. That's
you
pretty
know
impressive.
what? It's a cool story. I met a lady sitting one chair over from me when I started chemo. Her name's Jennifer Cooley. She's one of my best friends. I found out she had the same breast cancer as me, same type, same breast. She lived across the street from my mother and father-in-law, I found out. Totally meant to be.
Wow.
And so when we finished chemo, it stinks and it needs to change. They send you on your way. There's no instruction what to do next. There's no instruction during chemo that there's some tricks that you can take to alleviate side effects. We weren't taught that. And we're like, wait a sec, we know there's answers out there. So we were Facebook friends, of course, because we met during chemo. And we started Triple Negative Breast Cancer Survivors on Facebook. and we had
triple negative
breast cancer
cancer survivors. Okay.
On Facebook, and now we have the general group for all stages of cancer. We have this triple negative breast cancer survivors stage 3, because the stages of cancer, there's different things emotionally that women go through. Of course, stage 4, I run the group, but I kind of let the women take care of it because I don't have stage 4 cancer.
Right.
So I can't say I know how they feel.
Right.
I can say I couldn't imagine how you feel, or here's a resource,
right.
but I let them help each other. And then stage 3, it's great. I have another lady that helps me. My original cohort for that group passed away recently of her cancer spreading. Her son had just turned 2.
Wow.
Wow. It doesn't. And then I also have a group that my husband runs for the spouses.
I was just going to ask
4.
that. So are there, for spouses and loved ones, there's a group to
yes.
help them as well?
Yes. We can't forget, because cancer's not just for the patient.
Right.
Cancer affects kids. It affects right. everyone. And what's great is he'll oversee all of our groups, and he's a clinical social worker. So when we kind of notice things are going a little awry, we
right.
can tell them, hey, you need to kind of go to the hospital, or you need to go see a therapist. And we have Cayenne Betts from PTSD Chicks is going to do a live Facebook kind of Q&A
nice.
inside the group, because 80% of breast cancer patients suffer from PTSD.
That would make sense. I could see why that would happen.
It's traumatic.
Tell me about your life before breast cancer. Worries, adversities, things like that. And then when you got it, was it like, oh my gosh, woe is me? Did you go through the stages of, hey,
I never went the woe with me. I have cancer, gird up my loins, let's get rid of this crap.
Wow, good.
I've had over 50 surgeries in my life, so this just added to the, oh geez, what is it now?
So prior to that,
prior to that.
And you want to talk about that? Speak to that a little bit? A lot of adversities?
I grew up with a lot of health issues.
Okay.
I had 18 sets of P tubes in my ears. I was born with a cleft palate, not the cleft lip.
Really?
I'm blind in my left eye. I had a growing melanoma on my right shin. During high school was when my health really got bad. My platelets dropped to 21,000. So people know
right.
normal platelets is 250 to 400.
Right.
And
okay.
mine dropped down to 21. Now they're at 48,
okay.
which during chemo they actually went up, which is rare. I'm one of the 0.01% that my platelets went up.
Right.
Because I have thrombocytopenia, but there's no quite diagnosis. And then if people see, I have AVM malformations in my arm.
Right.
So have you ever seen a dialysis patient?
Yes.
How they have the big blunt or the port right here?
Right.
Well, those are artificial, but my body creates those by itself.
Oh, wow.
So as they hit, they start to create more and more and more. And then they're starting to strangle my muscles and my ligaments.
So here sits this warrioress right here who's gone through life with a few things.
And lots
what
of
keeps you in the game?
Blessings. During high school, they told me they didn't know if I could have kids.
Right.
I have 2.
Right.
I went from young, not so good marriage to pretty much a perfect one. I have an amazing husband. He's a therapist. He's my rock. Couldn't do without him.
What, we talk about faith and we talk about courage. What kept you in the game? I mean, really, was it you inside you, this confidence that you had that I'm going to get through this? Or did things happen? Like you say, blessings, just I'd have this going on and I'd have some great blessing come forward? Because that's really what...
Like, I delivered my son 8 weeks early in Washington. I had just moved there a week and a half before. Didn't know the doctors. That community came forward and supported me. And of course, a lot of it's to do with the church.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it was outside people as well.
Sure.
Because genuinely, people don't think this, but the world is good. It's inherently good.
Okay, that's you. That's where I wanted to go. So you believe that that most people are good.
Yes.
You're good. You're here for what? What are you here for?
What am I here for? I'm here to tell people, though, that you can have trials, but it doesn't define you.
Okay.
And like your show says, your bow not broken. I just posted on social media the other day. A bow has to bend back in order to go forward.
To be strong, it has to go back.
Well,
yeah.
My cancer was my bending back, and now I found what I want to do in my life.
And that's help people in any way you can, obviously.
And ease their burdens, and to know that it can be done. I have the longest surviving triple negative stage 4 survivor in my group. She's had stage 4 cancer for 47 years.
Wow.
She's alive. She's holding a world record. And see, it can be done.
Right.
But if someone has cancer and they're not going to make it, that's not saying they did anything wrong.
How important in the folks that, this is BEAU'D Not Broken, the Daily Bend, and we're talking to Traci. We've talked to Traci about some of her health issues as a young woman, and she's still a young woman, but her breast cancer when she was 27, and how she's been helping people and things like that. What is it that you see? You know, it always amazes me how people can hang in there. You talk about 47 something years of stage 3, right? Stage 4. What do you see in these people that, you know, I know that, you know, some people say, you know, half the battle or more than half the battle is in your mind. You know, what's in your mind and how you approach something. You know, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to, you know, hang in there.
Well, the biggest thing is I can say, and you can look at any stage 4 cancer patient, and I look at all my ladies, and I'm so proud of all of them. Even though some of them are going to die, they don't live like, oh, woe with me, I'm going to die. They say, okay, I may die tomorrow, but let's go bungee jumping today. Mm-hmm. That's how they live their life. Mm-hmm. They're not going to sit and wallow. They're going to make every second count. Mm-hmm. And so when you don't know when you're not going to wake up. My aunt passed away at 60, and it was hard on my mom and her husband, and she and my mother and my father, and they never let me my whole life say, woe with me. It's, yes, you may have that challenge. There's always someone worse, but that doesn't mean that challenge is going to hold you back or define who you are.
Right.
And it's...
So what defines who you are?
What I do for other people. What my legacy in this world will be when I leave. I want to know that I helped ease the burden of someone, and you know, it's not always about me.
Right.
It's not, because God told us, hey, you're here for each other. You're not here for yourself.
Right.
It doesn't matter about the money. It doesn't matter about the cars. It doesn't matter about how big your house is.
Right.
It matters about what you do for your neighbor.
Yeah, and it sure seems, you know, talking to you, and we've talked to other people on the show, health is an interesting thing. Having your health is pretty important. You know, I mean, you look at houses, you look at pools, you look at nice cars, all those things, but really health is pretty important trying to go through life.
You know, I struggle every day, but there's people that won't wake up tomorrow.
Right.
So I know I'll wake up tomorrow, and so I'm going to count my blessings and see what I can do for the person that maybe won't.
So you've got your groups, and you've got that's really kind of your passion now, is
yes,
your groups and all those things.
Yeah.
Want to talk any further about those? And are there some charity? Is there a charity that if people want to, or some volunteerism, if somebody out there wants to get involved with you or with some of these groups?
Well, we're doing support group bags for newly diagnosed patients. I deliver a lot to Utah Cancer Specialist and to IMC and to McCady and Huntsman, and they're bags of products that help other survivors. Right now, I signed up to work with Unique because every penny I own, I earn,
right,
goes back to buying eyebrow kits, because women that lose their hair, yes, they can deal with that, but you also lose your eyebrows and your eyelashes too,
right,
and that defines a woman.
Right.
And so I am able to get those, and then in return give them to them, and I actually stay and help and show them how to put their eyebrows on.
Oh,
because
cool.
It's hard and it's tricky,
right,
but the confidence even just, you know, a lip gloss or nail polish or an eyebrow kit, or even just, the number one thing they love to get in those bags are letters from strangers. The "you can do this. This is important to that you make it through," or "I'm a survivor too. I'm this many years out. You'll make it." And just to show people you care.
Is there a charity? Is there like a fund that anybody out there that might want to get involved, or you can probably get them in touch with something if they get a hold of you on Facebook?
Yeah, I could get them in touch with the local charity if they want. They can support our bags if they want.
Yeah, that's what we hope.
I'm not picky though, because if you're giving back, but don't give back to companies like Coleman or that, because they only put 20% to their research. They're providing other companies like Planned Parenthood and their CEOs buku bucks.
Oh, big bucks. So those
she makes $700,000 a year.
Oh, hey, there you go.
And
so
it's ridiculous.
So get a hold of you for who to give to and who not to give to.
There's some big ones. There's the American Cancer Society is great.
Right.
They will help get patients to their doctor's appointments. Medivivor is a new one that's fairly new that was started by Jeannie Grimes. She is phenomenal, and 100% of what is donated goes directly back to stage 4 research.
Oh, okay.
There's Triple Negative Breast Cancer Foundation. There's quite a few that are reputable. Just all I can say is if someone's going to donate money, research where they're going, where every penny goes to first.
Or have them get a hold of Traci.
Or I could direct you to whatever.
that'd be the best thing, I think.
Well, I can get
Traci,
you to
you're on Facebook, and your name is spelled Traci.
Brundage.
And then BRUNDAGE.
Yes. Or I'm on Twitter at TNBC Survivor.
TNBC Survivor on Twitter. Okay.
And so I can help do whatever. And I can help people write I do blogs, I'll do guest blogging. I don't charge anything.
Wow.
Whatever I can give back.
Wow, that's awfully nice. What do you tell people that maybe have just because we talked about a little bit about the prevention side, but what do you tell someone that's maybe just diagnosed with breast cancer, but breast cancer mostly right now?
Well, the biggest thing I tell people is don't search online. All you'll ever hear is horror stories. If they want, talk to a local survivor, reach out. If you know a friend that's had it, talk to them, because they can walk you through the good parts of it. Because yes, it's scary, but like triple negative, all you'll see is death, 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 death. But there's resources out there that talk about the triple positives of triple negative.
Right.
There's better, legitimate resources that don't just focus on the scary part of cancer.
On death, yeah.
Yeah, because not everyone's gonna die from cancer.
So, but as we've heard that breast cancer is one of the most you can recuperate rather well. I mean, you can, or is it not that case? Is it?
I'll be honest with you, it's misleading.
Oh, is it?
All the media out
there hearing it here.
Is misleading. The fact that they say it's 99% curable.
Right, 99, yeah.
It's not curable.
Okay.
Just because you have cancer, it means your cells are dormant after chemo.
Right.
But they could awake any time. It's not, and you can't say, yes, for some cancers and that, yes, you can live healthy, yes, you can exercise, which I recommend those wholeheartedly. But you can make sure everything's in moderation and that, but just because you've had it doesn't mean it's gonna go away. It's more or less, triple negative is a 70-30 reoccurrence rate. Breast cancer is like an 85-15, different forms of breast cancer. But if you look at the majority of breast cancer, 40% of the women altogether that will get stage 4 will die. And
the
so
40%
that's 40,000 women a year that are dying, and people aren't focusing on stage 4 cancer.
Right.
There's a gap. There's a gap in childhood research, and there's a gap in all stage 4 metastatic research. It's really sad.
Well, we're gonna lean on Traci every once in a while to help us with maybe a couple more shows with cancer, breast cancer, things like that. I really appreciate you coming.
My pleasure.
And this is rather nice little setting here at Murray Park, but hopefully everybody was able to see this. Hopefully you'll be able to download it. Traci's a big resource. I'll make sure I highlight her and post so you can be her friend and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure you have quite a network. Yeah, and that's the kind of attitude that that we love. That's why we do these shows, because it's people helping people and telling their stories. You're an amazing woman. I got to tell you, I'm glad we've had you on. Everybody has such unique stories, but I know I look at you and I think, wow, this lady's gone through a lot of health issues, but she's still got a smiley face, and look at her. She looks good in the sun here. She's all taken in the sun.
Oh, I love the sun.
Yes.
Make sure you wear your sunscreen.
Yeah, there we go. We're here at Murray Park in Utah in the United States, and this has been the Daily Bend, and we appreciate everybody watching, and hope you watch tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday each week. And I'll make sure I download everything down to all the social media sites, and make sure you become a friend of Traci's on Facebook and Twitter and things like that. Everybody have a great day, and don't forget, it's all about the Bend. Thanks, Traci. Appreciate it.